Unit 2, Lesson 1, Digging Deeper into Perspectives Through Literature. Your learning targets for today: I can describe the parts of a drama. I can identify the characteristics of historical fiction. Our guiding questions throughout this unit are: how does a person's perspective influence their opinion? And why should we respect the opinions of others? Let's take a closer look at that first question. How does a person's perspective influence their opinion? The word perspective means a person's viewpoint based on who they are, what they do, and where they live. The word influence means the power to sway or change something in one direction or another. So how does a person's viewpoint, or who they are, influence or change what they think about something? That's what that first question is asking, and we're going to look at it in the context of the American Revolution, whether or not people were patriots or loyalists. The second guiding question is: why should we respect the opinions of others? Respect, of course, means to admire, understand, and treat well. So in the context of this story, there are people that have different perspectives or different opinions about the Revolutionary War. The question is, why should we respect the opinions of others? So in the story, we'll see characters and we'll wonder, are they respecting the opinions of others or are they not? And why should we? The play that we will be reading for this unit is called Divided Loyalties: The Barton Family During the American Revolution. This play is based on real events that happened in our country. However, the characters and the words that they say are imaginary or made up. And so this is called a historical fiction, a made-up story set during real time in history. When you open up the cover of the drama or the play, you will see a table of contents. A table of contents shows the different parts of the play and the page numbers that they will be found on. This is very helpful if you need to find a section quickly. In the table of contents, you'll see some words that are written in all capital letters and in red print, and those are Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. Acts are how plays are divided up. It's like a part of a book, but in a play it's called an act. This play has 3 acts, and you'll see that the acts are shown with Roman numerals. So you see it looks like an I, but that means Act 1, then 2 I's means Act 2, 3 means Act 3. Then you'll notice that underneath each act there are 3 scenes. Scenes are smaller parts within those acts. They act like the chapter in a book. All of the acts in this play have 3 scenes. The setting of the story is shown here in italics. It's shown under each act. It will tell you where the story is taking place and also when the story is taking place. An epilogue is found at the end of a book or a play, and it tells you what happens to the characters after the play or the story ends. Finally, on this table of contents, we'll see that there is more information at the end of the book that will give you more information about the real story behind the play. You'll see facts behind the story. You can read, research, and write more about this story, and you can extend your reading about the American Revolution, and you can turn to that section, those sections of the book, if you are interested in finding out more. If you turn to the next page, you will see an introduction. At the top of the introduction, it says colonies or country. That is a big question. Let's read the text that follows. Before it became a country, America was made up of 13 colonies. These colonies were ruled by Great Britain. The colonists followed British laws and paid British taxes. They were also citizens of Great Britain, but they could not vote in the British government. Some colonists, called patriots, felt that this was unfair. The patriots wanted to set up their own government with their own laws. Other colonists, called loyalists, were proud to be part of Great Britain. In the 1770s, Burlington, New Jersey, was caught up in these questions of loyalty. There and elsewhere, the conflict between patriots and loyalists divided friends and family. Off to the right of the page, you will see a map. At the top, it says New Jersey and surrounding colonies, 1700s. New Jersey is in blue, and you'll see that I've circled it. This is the setting of our story. The story takes place in Burlington, New Jersey, which was one of the original 13 colonies. Finally, at the bottom, you'll see a timeline, and the title of the timeline is Before the American Revolution. So you'll see dates in order, as well as major events that happened in our country that are important for our story and important for the American Revolution. All right, before we begin reading the text, we're going to review the parts of a drama. A drama is another word for a play, and a script is what the actual written text of a play is called. So if you were an actor in a play, the play itself would be called the script. That's what you would be reading from. The other parts of a play are the acts. That's how plays are divided up, like a part of a book. You have the setting, where and when the story or the play takes place. You have scenes, which are smaller parts within the acts. They act like the chapters in a book. Finally, you have the characters, and these are the characters in the play who talk. Their names are in bold print, and you'll see a colon after it, and then you'll see the words that they say. That's called the dialogue. That's the lines the characters say out loud in a performance. And finally, you'll see stage directions in parentheses and usually in italics. It tells the stage actors what to do or how to read a line during the play. So the example here is Mrs. Smith exits the store. So in an actual play that's being performed on stage, the character playing Mrs. Smith would leave the stage at that point because the stage directions tell her what to do. The play that we are reading, Divided Loyalties, is an example of a historical fiction. A historical fiction is a fictional story set during a real time in history. The characters in historical fiction can be real or imaginary, but they do things that real people would have really done during that time in history. The setting is a real time and a place from the past. The plot includes real problems that people would have had during that time in history. And finally, the dialogue or the words that the characters say to each other are similar to what real people would have said at that time in history. That's how you can determine whether or not a story is a historical fiction. Let's get a look at the characters in our play. The characters are all part of the Barton family. You'll see Mary Barton. Mary is the mother of the family. She was born in England. Her brother works for the British royal governor, William Franklin, a son of Benjamin Franklin's, and he is loyal to Great Britain. Next to her, you'll see Abigail Barton. Abigail, their daughter, is 14 years old. She is not sure which side that she supports. Next to her, you'll see Ben Barton. He's the youngest son. He's 9 years old, and he really admires or looks up to his older brother. Farther over onto the other page, you'll see Robert Barton. Robert is the father of the family. He is a successful merchant, which means a store owner. He depends on trading American and British goods to make a living in the family store, and his loyalty is to Great Britain, like his wife. Then finally we have William Barton. He's the oldest son. He is 17 years old, and he has been attending a local school. He believes the colonists should be an independent country. On the bottom right-hand corner of the page, you'll see a list titled Other Characters. And here they just have listed minor characters that will appear in the play. You'll see a narrator, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Lawson, soldier, customer, crowd members 1 through 5, and shopkeepers 1 and 2. Those are all minor characters that will appear in the story. The narrator is someone who explains what's happening in the play, but they are not an actual character that interacts with other characters. On the stage, they would be a person or a voice that you would hear, but again, the narrator doesn't interact with the other characters. Your homework is to read Act 1, Scenes 1 and 2, and complete the summary notes for Scenes 1 and 2 of our play, Divided Loyalty. This is what your summary notes will look like. You'll see at the top it says Act 1, Scene 1, and on the right-hand side, Act 1, Scene 2. You'll fill in the blanks with somebody in, wanted, but, so, then. And you'll fill that in for both Scene 1 and Scene 2. Before we start reading, just a quick reminder that acts are how a play is divided up, like the parts of a book. The setting is where and when the play takes place. The scenes are smaller parts within the acts, like the chapter of a book. And the narrator, which you'll see is speaking first, is someone who explains what is happening in the play, but they are not a character that interacts with other characters in the play. Act 1. The setting, Burlington, New Jersey, 1774 to 1775. Scene 1. In the Bartons' home. Narrator. Burlington, New Jersey is alive with activity. The seeds of the American Revolution have been sown. Many in Burlington are loyalists, but support for the Patriots is growing stronger. Farmers, shopkeepers, and others feel that they are being taxed on too many goods. They also feel that they have no say in the laws that are passed in Great Britain. The people of Burlington often hear what is happening in other colonial cities, such as New York, Boston, and Philadelphia. Many are alarmed by events such as the Boston Massacre and the Boston Tea Party. The Continental Congress has just met in Philadelphia to discuss the tensions between the colonies and Great Britain. Some people in Burlington, such as Mary and Robert Barton, wonder if the Patriots have gone too far. As Act 1 opens, the Barton family is sitting around the fireplace in their home. They are discussing what has been taking place in the colonies, as well as what these events mean for colonists like themselves. Ben, did you see the big merchant ship in the harbor? 3 masts! What a beauty! And she has brought us a new shipment of goods for the store. Yes, Father, I watched them unload her. I kept wondering if the Patriots would sneak onto the ship and dump tea in the harbor as they did in Boston. Ben, I don't think you will see that kind of tea party here in Burlington. Well, Mary, I wouldn't be so sure. I spoke with your brother today. We're lucky that he works for the royal governor. Governor Franklin is a good man, but no doubt your brother is worried. It seems that some people are saying that we should not have a royal governor. Oh, surely such talk will not amount to anything. William Franklin is a good governor. He has served the people of this colony well and deserves our respect. The governor simply supports King George, as he should. That's true. He's loyal to Great Britain and has represented us well. But those rebels, the Patriots, call him a traitor. He is not a traitor. It is the rebels who are traitors. I don't know about that, Mother. I've heard talk amongst my friends. Some of the boys have been talking about the skirmish in Boston. Even though it happened a few years ago, the fight between the British soldiers and the Patriots has people upset. People call it the Boston Massacre. Are you talking about how those British soldiers killed those people in Boston? I've wondered about that. Why did the soldiers shoot those men? The shooting was a terrible mistake. Some boy threw a snowball at the British soldiers. In a panic, shots were fired. Unfortunately, those men died in what amounts to a tragic accident. Yes, but why are troops here in Burlington now? We should not have British soldiers watching our every move. Some of my friends think that we, too, should be rebelling like the men in Boston. The troops are here to defend the colonies, to protect us. It is absurd to talk about fighting the British Army. The British Army is the best and the strongest in the world. Isn't that so, Robert? Indeed. A bunch of farmers armed with pitchforks could never defeat the British Army. Besides, British soldiers and those who are loyal to Britain greatly outnumber those rabble-rousers who call themselves patriots. The British soldiers make me feel safe. As well they should. They are part of the strongest army in the world. We should be proud to be a part of Great Britain. I like their red jackets. Do they treat us like we are part of Great Britain? The Patriot leaders are meeting in Philadelphia to discuss this very point. After all, how much can we pay in taxes, Father? We have to buy stamps for paper, newspapers, and even playing cards. And some say that's just the beginning. And with all those taxes, do we get a say in the government? You'll see that more and more people are joining the Patriot cause. How can you say that, William? Do not forget that Great Britain protected us against France in the last war. Wars cost a lot of money, and we should pay our part. Of course, I don't like to pay taxes any more than the next man, but it is our duty as subjects of the British Crown. Our taxes also pay for the soldiers who are stationed here to protect us. We can't expect Britain to send soldiers to the colonies for free. Someone has to pay their wages. Some people say we should train our own soldiers to protect us. What about the women who say that they will not buy tea or cloth from Britain? Yesterday I saw some women throw packages of tea right out into the street, right in front of our store. And some of the women here in Burlington are setting up spinning groups to make their own cloth. Those women are just foolish. Do not associate with any of them, Abigail. I forbid it. We are loyal to the king. Not everyone is as loyal as you are, Mother. Many think that we should be able to govern ourselves. They say that we should not be taxed unless we have elected representatives to the British Parliament. Most important, they say we should stop trading with Great Britain and fight for our rights. Stop trading? Well, that's simply absurd. Great Britain has goods we need. We have goods they need. It's simple. Both sides make money trading. A few wild-eyed rebels should not ruin our lives. Going to war with Britain would be foolish. The rebels would lose, and then what would happen? No, a war is not the answer. Now that we're at the end of scene 1, I want to pause and we're going to fill out the summary notes. This is part of your homework. I want you to take a look at this chart over here. It's the somebody in, wanted, but, so, then. This is a way that we're going to help you organize your summary. The somebody means a character or narrator in the text. In is the place where the text is set, so that's be the setting. Wanted, you would write down what the character or the narrator is hoping for. For the but, you would write the problem or obstacle that might get in the way of what the character or the narrator wants. So is the outcome or the resolution, and then is what happens to move the story forward. For scene 1, we will fill out the summary notes together. The somebody is the Barton family. The in is the setting of the story. Burlington, New Jersey, in 1770, the Barton family home. Wanted. For this part, we're going to think, what is it that the Barton family wanted? Well, we know that Robert and Mary wanted to talk about the importance of being loyal to Great Britain, but their son William thought the Patriots had good reason to rebel or to fight against the British government. So they debated or talked about the actions of the British and the Patriots. Then William mentioned that the colonists should stop trading with the British. Pause the video now so you can complete the summary notes for Act 1, Scene 1. Scene 2. In the Barton store. 6 months have passed. It is April 1775. Rebellion in the colonies has spread. Local farmers are refusing to sell their goods to Robert Barton and other loyalists. William has been going to meetings of the Sons of Liberty, a vocal group of American colonists leading the independence movement. He and his friends have heard about Patrick Henry's famous "Give me liberty or give me death" speech, delivered in the Virginia House of Burgess a month earlier. Some of his friends have joined the King's regiment to support the British. The tension in the Barton family reflects the tense mood in the colonies. The scene opens as Robert and his children are waiting on customers at the Barton store. William, could you help Mrs. Smith? I imagine she'll want her usual pound of tea. Is that right, Mrs. Smith?
No tea today, Mr. Barton. I'm not buying tea. I've decided not to buy any more goods from Great Britain. Our taxes are just too high. I hear that you, Mr. Barton, are still loyal to the king. I don't understand that. But in the meantime, I will have some vegetables from our local American farmers.
That's true, Mrs. Smith. I still support the king. I see no reason to change things here in America. So, which vegetables would you like today?
Yes, how about these potatoes, Mrs. Smith? They look rather small compared to your usual produce. Is that the best you have?
I'm afraid so. Some of the farmers have refused to sell me their produce. They don't agree with my views about the colonies and Great Britain.
Well, perhaps I should join them. You can keep the potatoes. My goodness, Mrs. Smith seemed quite bothered. What happened?
I regret to say that she has decided to stop buying goods from us.
Why is that?
It seems she's become a rebel patriot.
Father, perhaps Mrs. Smith is right. Perhaps we shouldn't sell tea.
Maybe we should sell only local produce, goods produced by people around here. No, my dear, that is not my way. I have my beliefs, and I will stand by them. I will not be forced to change my opinions. I think Abigail is right, and I think you should consider taking a loyalty oath to the patriot cause. Lots of people are doing it, you know. You don't have to support the rebellion. Just identify yourself with the patriots. William, we are loyal to the king, and that's final. Go out back and get some more tea. Others will want to buy it.
But, Father,
I will not let these so-called patriots tell me what to do. Ah, Mr. Lawson, good day. Good day, Robert. I'd like some cotton cloth and some tobacco. And what about some tea, Mr. Lawson? It's just off the boat. Why, yes, tea would be nice. That's a good lad. I'm glad to see that you are stocking goods from Britain, Robert. I hear you cannot get a cup of tea in Boston. The rebels are trying to take over the city. But they'll have no luck. The British army is there. Everyone knows there's no defeating a force that powerful. I agree, Mr. Lawson. We have some fine cotton cloth that arrived on the same ship as the tea. I can give you a good price today. Excellent. I'll take 8 yards. I'm proud to call myself a British subject, and I'm proud to buy British goods. And I'm proud to sell them to you, Mr. Lawson. You have a good day, sir. You see, children, there are still loyal citizens here in Burlington.
Father, what is that noise? Look, an army of people is coming down the street. They're carrying guns and pitchforks. They look like they're angry about something.
I know those men. They're farmers and townsmen. Why are they marching?
They're patriots, Father, and they're coming towards our store.
Abigail, get in the back and take Ben with you.
Should I lock the door?
No, I have known most of those men for years. I'm sure that any issue they have can be discussed in a civilized manner. Surely they are just overexcited. Now that we've finished listening to Scene 2, it is time to fill out the summary notes for Act 1, Scene 2. Here I've provided the chart for you to remember what the somebody in wanted, but, so, then, what all those mean. So you can take a look over here on the side to help you fill in your summary notes. Just do your best on this. You will be reviewing this information in the lesson tomorrow. So if you do not get it done perfectly, that's okay. We just ask that you do your best.